Now, the UK has launched the National Food Strategy Initiative, the first full review of their food system in 75 years. We are a country of 5 million people and a net exporter of food, yet a national food insecurity is emerging due to the fragmentation of our food administration. I am super excited to have on the show tonight New Zealand food and wine writer Lauraine Jacobs. Lauraine, welcome to Sarah's Country. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Lovely to be here, thank you.
Now, firstly, when did this concept start to form for you and seeing the ludicrousy of our food system?
Well, I guess it's been around for a long time. I mean, I've been a food writer for longer than I care to almost admit, 30 years. And throughout that time, I have always been incredibly passionate about our food system and our food and celebrating that. And right back at the beginning of this century, there was some wonderful events in Christchurch called Savour New Zealand, and there were a lot of discussions around that food at that time. I was honoured to be part of a government task force that met in Wellington 2008, where we looked at strategies for the food industry. And then I just seemed to have, I spoke at a conference in Christchurch, and it has always seemed very strange to me that a country like New Zealand, where so much of the economy is based around the amazing food we produce, that there's no overarching system, control. And so a lot of people for a long time have been saying what we need is a minister of food. It wouldn't be taking away, the whole idea would not be to take away a lot of the jobs that the various departments do, but there are a lot of people who have to do things with food, whether they're farmers, whether they're restaurateurs, whether they're exporters, whether they're small artisan producers. And if they want to find something, get some help, they have to go to a lot of different government departments. And it seems to me it would be very sensible to actually have an overarching minister who could facilitate much more easily between all the different government departments.
So you're talking about a minister as opposed to a ministry?
Well, I think a minister has to have a ministry behind him, doesn't he?
Absolutely. Yes. So therefore, I'm just querying around the duplication that may prop up, but from MPI, MB, WorkSafe, Health, etc., where this whole coordination can happen. The concept, absolutely brilliant, that we have over the entire supply chain, and of course the value chain is not lost as well. But how do you think it could happen without just creating another layer of bureaucracy?
Well, I'd hate to see that it would actually create a huge layer of bureaucracy, because bureaucracy is the thing that holds everybody back. I mean, what I think you need to do right now is to establish, and for everybody to have it absolutely drilled into their heads, that they need to get excited about New Zealand food. They need to be excited about what our farmers are producing. They need to be excited about what they're eating. They need to be excited about the New Zealand food that we're buying. But even more importantly, I think we right now have this incredible opportunity to get the rest of the world excited about our food. I mean, if you can produce something that is top-notch like we do and show the world, they will come for it, because, there's still, even after the absolutely disastrous and carnage that we're going to see in the economies around the world, there are still going to be people with money who still want to eat really well. I don't know if you saw, there was some wonderful work done this week by New Zealand Business, part of NZTE, I think, and they managed to get a program on that was called Kitchen Quarantine Kitchen, with Massimo Bottura, who is the best chef currently working in the world. And he did this kitchen cooking 3 different episodes using our Timana lamb, our zespri, our Ora King salmon, some wine of ours. And it went out to well over 500,000 people. And here it was as top-notch produce, and he was raving about it. And I just think that what we need is, we need to get a ministry of food that can link all the dots for, I mean, obviously NZT were doing a terrific job there, but it just needs to be repeated everywhere. And it needs to also fall in line with all the problems that we're facing, you know, that stretches right back across so many ministries.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I am an absolute advocate for our tourism, our hospitality, and our farming communities to be collaboratives from an added value perspective. I've just lost Lauraine there. She's back.
Oh, there she is.
In terms of being able to collaborate across our hospitality, tourism, and farming systems, export to be able to add value, Lauraine. However, we take advantage. We take for advantage that the fact that we don't have a food insecurity problem in this country, and the fact that we had so much money going into food banks from this latest budget is very, very concerning.
Well, it is. It's terrible because there's enough food produced in this country to feed no one should be hungry. I mean, there's plenty of food. We've got far more food than we can possibly eat. And I have got no idea where we're falling down. I don't have an answer for that. I mean, I think that Meet the Need campaign, the Meet the Need charity that's popped up, has it just really popped up now?
The thing is, the intention wasn't to release in COVID, but it just so happened to happen at the same time. And it's been about a year or so in the making, which is fantastic.
Yeah, because it's so timely, isn't it? I mean, Meet the Need is, I mean, you're obviously running the story of it in the breaks here. And it absolutely, to me, that is so exciting. I mean, because I think that we have to look after what's at home first. Of course we do. But we also have a big, somebody quoted a figure of the fact that probably 70% of our exports are going to be food related in the coming 2 years. I don't know whether you've heard that, but we've got to get everybody excited, and we've got to get everybody on the same page. And I really can't wait to see. I mean, it's very strange that it takes a pandemic. As a food writer, I've spent my life trying to A, get people to cook, and B, get excited about New Zealand produce. And what's amazing, it took a pandemic to do it. Suddenly everybody's cooking, and they're cooking our food.
Yes, but if we don't make the most of this crisis and turn it into an opportunity, it will be a lost opportunity. So, Lauraine, where to from here? How can we rally the troops around this concept?
Well, I think that everybody has to start talking about, I think it has to be an election issue, because I just don't think, we've been talking for 16, 17, 18 years about trying to do this properly. But now everyone will suddenly realize that this is important. I think it almost has to become an election issue because we'll be over the health issues. We're actually dealing to those finally, apart from feeding the children properly, but that's going to happen too. So I do think that it's going to be very important that we actually ask everyone who's standing for election in this coming election, how are you going to raise the profile of New Zealand food, both at home and internationally? And everyone we know needs to start talking about getting a Ministry of Food that can actually coordinate the work that all the departments are doing.
Absolutely, Lauraine, and connect people with a career in the food industry, which is, of course, producing food just as much, because I know around the country people are struggling to get staff into this major. If we don't have people working or harvesting, we won't have this beautiful food just as much.
Maybe we should also be talking about farming becoming the career of choice. Anything to do with it.
Again, that's another 18, 19-year debate conversation we've been having here as well. Let's continue to work together on this, Lauraine. It's fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us in Sarah's Country and your absolute passion for New Zealand produce. Really appreciate it.
And thank you, too, for your work. It's marvellous, Sarah.
Thank you, Lauraine.
This is Sarah's Country.